trying to get back to the basics of great products.
Power comes from sharing information.
I try to convince people to slow down.
Free. Open.
This is the Soaked by Slush podcast.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Soaked by Slush podcast for yet another episode. My name is William von der Palen, and with me in Copenhagen is Isak Rautio. Hi Isak, what's up?
Hi William. I need that hello as my ringtone. Seriously, I like it's really fun. No, it's great. It's a great day here in Copenhagen. Glad to be here on stream again, making another episode.
Yeah, it is indeed, and we have a great guest once again, who actually told us this is her first podcast. So we'll make it. We'll hope it's worth her while. But Sonya Baranova from Inovat, welcome.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me here.
Hi. Nice for you to be here, first of all. Do you want to give, because we usually botch intros. We can't introduce people because we're going to mess up something. Do you want to tell the listeners who you are?
Yes, so I'm the co-founder of Inovat, a digital solution that helps international travelers get their VAT refunds fast and easy.
Okay. And you're based in London right now, is that right? You're in London right now.
Yes.
Yes.
We're based in London, and during COVID we have been all time in London here.
Okay. How has that been? Also as an entrepreneur, but just in general, I guess. How has that been?
It depends from time to time. It has been hard sometimes, to other times it has been okay. So right now it's all looking that it will be a second lockdown or something similar to the lockdown. But the business is better, much better right now, because there are international travelers coming in and shopping. So that's why I'm happy about it.
Yeah, the spring was probably tough for you, as it was for everyone, because there was not a lot of tourism going on. But or has it been a good year for you overall?
Of course, since we're highly reliant on travelers and retailers, it has been tough. We were focusing on vertical improvement of our system and the overall of the product, and we're focusing on integrating more features in the UK. But COVID actually helped us to expand horizontally, since more governments are now more inclined towards digital solutions and less paper-heavy manual processes and less human interaction. So that's a good thing for us. So it's, there are pros and cons here and there, but right now it goes quite well.
Yeah. Can we start talking about this? This is very fascinating, actually. Speaking of the sort of public cooperation or the sort of relationship entrepreneurs like you have with governments or sort of regulatory bodies or sort of just bureaucracy in general, I guess. So how has that experience been for you with Inovat?
So we've been talking with several governments, and with UK specifically, it took 1 year to convince them to digitalize the tax-free process. And we're still in process of discussing this. And, it's hard for us, being not native British people. We're coming from overseas. I'm from Ukraine. My co-founder is from Russia. And of course, it's challenging. In Europe is also going quite well. But what we mainly help government is reducing their fraud. So because the process is such manual, it's completely obsolete. It's all paper heavy, and all the recordings, all accounting is done like it was done 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So what we help government is to reduce the risk of fraud and to manage everything digitally and efficiently, helping them to track where the money goes, basically.
Can you speak a bit more about that year and what happened and sort of what the relationship is? Because, I guess if you see this from both perspectives, on the other hand, yes, you have a solution, definitely. And your sort of job, I guess, is to sort of negotiate and convince and sort of present to the cases why your product or service is a good thing for them to implement. But then on the other hand, I can also see the government side where, obviously they can't say yes to everything or anyone just on a whim. Otherwise, what's the point of having a sort of stable institutions in that way? So how do you sort of bridge this gap with negotiation and just letting them know that this is a good thing to do?
So for example, with the UK government, we've done multiple meetings and approached them from different sides. And it's hard to reach that specific team that's responsible for innovation within that sector where you operate. So we've tried many ways of approaching them, but we finally found the right team. And when you find the right team, it's much easier. The discussion goes smoothly, and there is some process that you have to follow. So we were presenting our demo, we were showing our numbers, the research, the advantages here and there. So with Belgian government, for example, where we've passed through the testing phase and almost ready to launch our digital solution, we've done that through a middleman, which was connecting us to the government and also showing the benefits of our system. And with Belgian government, it was a little bit easier and it took less time. Firstly, because of COVID, because Belgium wants to increase the number of tourists coming into their country and wants to digitalize processes all around their country. And the second thing is it's much smaller and I can say more open to innovation. So I mean, it varies from country to country how you approach the tax officials. And we tackle that depending on their interest and how open they are to the innovation.
Okay. And do you usually start off with some form of pilot or testing period to kind of do it, smaller first, so they don't have to, trust you with their whole system right away, and then once you go through that, then you hope to get a bigger chunk of the operations probably.
Exactly. As you do with your system, you do A/B testing, right? So the same thing goes with approaching new ways of doing things for the government. And this testing phase, it all depends on how it goes, of course, and what the government decides in the end. And their say is the most important thing. So you need to do everything right in order to convince them to approach the digitalization.
And how does it work? Who is like your end customer? Is it the governments who are paying for this service and you help them kind of digitalize their whole system and at some point they hopefully just use this or some form of combination of systems, or is it the people who do the VAT filings on your system who pay you, or how does the business model work for you?
So we have a general model is B2C where our end customer is the traveler. And with some governments, when they're open for integrating our system into their tax-free management operations, then we do that. For example, we're in talks with 2 countries in Europe where the governments are interested into us developing for them digital system where they can manage all their tax refund claims for international travelers. So it again depends, but the general model is B2C, and we care about international travelers a lot and how they go through the whole tax-free process, and we make sure that they get it right.
Now, speaking about you, you said you're from the Ukraine, and now you're an entrepreneur in London. How's that? Do you enjoy it? Are you enjoying life? It's probably hard work and busy. It's not just a vacation.
So I moved in London about 7 years ago. I came here to study. I finished my bachelor's here. I worked at the Challenger Bank. I worked at PC, and then started my own company. So I mean, it's a combination of both studying here and following the right steps in order to launch what I always wanted to launch, is Inovat. And I mean, do you want me to go into details how we started the company, or?
Yeah,
Please,
it would be interesting
anything,
to hear. Yeah.
would be very nice. And also I can help you sort of direct the answer a bit. Like, so I mean, you kind of also started there. You said this is something you've been wanting to found for a while. That this wasn't something you were building up to. When did you know that you wanted to become an entrepreneur?
I don't know, all my life.
Your whole life?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I cannot find any other way where I can, I don't know, be myself or something. So I always wanted to start my own business, even though I really like the places where I worked. I really like the teams and the products on which I was working. Yeah, my end goal was always to start my own company and to make sure it works and succeeds.
That's good.
And yeah, so how did you go
ahead.
about it? You moved to London and then you studied and you know, was it a deliberate choice that you wanted to work in some banks first and do the studies first and then go about funding your company, or did it just kind of happen on the way?
I think it was more of a step-by-step plan that I had in my mind. So of course, when you just come to the new country, you start to learn new different things. So at the university, they teach you one thing, but when you're doing business, it's a completely different thing. When you're working for something, it's also a completely different thing. So I was lacking a lot of knowledge, and I've gained some from uni, and I've gained a massive experience at my almost first place of employment at Revolut. It was a startup when I joined there, and in 1 year of me working there, it became a unicorn. So it was a huge experience for me, from almost 0 to 1. And and after that, I thought what I'm lacking in order to start a company is the different side of the equation, is how VCs choosing their investments and what's popular, what's trendy in the startup world, how startups succeed. So I joined a VC firm here in London called Fuel Ventures. I worked there a little bit in their investor relations team, and then I worked on the deals sourcing and deals management. It was quite exciting, but I mean, the tax-free industry has always been in my head, and I will tell you a bit my personal story, how we came up with that idea. So I'm from Ukraine. My co-founder is from Russia. When we were teenagers, kids, we were traveling always to Europe with our parents and doing some shopping there. And by the end of our trip, we were always claiming tax refunds. And the process goes like this. You buy something at the store and you get a paper form, which you have to complete manually. You have to input all your details, all the details of the purchased item, and so on and so forth. So you get like 10 forms on average, because you have to get this single form for each of your purchase from the different retail stores. And after that, you spend like 1 hour to complete it manually. You have to go to the airport and to wait 2 hours in the queues in order to hand this paper form to the desk, for the tax-free desk. And then you have to stand another queue to get your money back. And the fees are extreme. And what's funny is that travelers don't even know that they're being charged such high fees. And there were some funny stories where we were asking cash refunds in a certain currencies, for example, in euros. And the tax-free refund desk just told us, oh, sorry, we don't have euros, we have only US dollars. We said, okay, fine, US dollars, fine. And they gave us much less amount because they charged the exchange rates.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it was like 10 years ago when we've done that because we were teenagers and kids, and the process is still exactly the same. So nothing changed. There are two companies who own the whole market, it's Global and Premier Tax Free, and they're managing all this paper process. So I thought, like, at this digital age, one of the few industries that has never been challenged is tax-free space. So we decided, with my co-founder faced exact same problems. So we decided to start Inovat and challenge this space and bring a digital innovation to tax-free industry.
That's great.
And do you have a technical background yourself, either one of you co-founders, or did you have to recruit then people who are more technical?
I have a little bit of technical background, but I'm not the technical manager or CTO in our company. So we've got quite, and either not my co-founder, he's more of a salesperson, and his official title is CEO. And my official title is COO. So we've got lucky with that. My co-founder's old friend with whom he was playing professional video games, so he was a professional esports player. His friend is a very talented engineer, and he worked at the Russian challenger bank called Tinkoff. It's like a Revolut in Europe, but in Russia.
Yeah.
And he was focusing there on computer vision. And after that, he joined the crypto fund and worked on the multiple startups. And so my co-founder, Ilya, got in touch with him and offered him a position as the CTO in our company. And that's how it went from there. I mean, and his experience is super relevant to us because we use computer vision for scanning of our receipts. But I can go later about how Inovat works, if you like.
Sure, I can. That's also an interesting angle. I don't know how you could even answer this. I'm sort of thinking, putting myself in your shoes, like how would I even begin answering this? But I'm curious, like if you hadn't had this guy who was the friend of your co-founder, what would your approach have been to sort of find someone with technical ability, or how do you even sort of? Because I'm a very non-technical person also. So if I want to start innovating within the tax-free system. You obviously and make it digital. You obviously need someone with digital skills. So how would you even approach that without this guy?
So there are two ways. Essentially, is to either learn by yourself, or to find someone. And learn by yourself. It's good. You can be you can get to a certain level, but you cannot be the best at it. So it is important to find the right co-founders, because so many companies fail because their co-founders was a mismatch. So if we wouldn't have Igor, we would find another one.
I guess so, yeah. Based on what you already say, yeah. What else say? Yeah, you gave a really sort of simple, refreshing answer there. Like, yeah, you either learn it yourself or you find someone. Yeah, it's basically, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but it's tricky. It's tricky.
It is, yes. It is definitely tricky. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Actually, you suggested it yourself. Do you want to, just to let the viewers and us actually also know how the process at Inovat works? What is the service?
Yeah, so we're now offering a web platform for our customers, and the iOS version is launching in a matter of weeks, and the Android about in 1 month. So how it goes step by step. International traveler has to use their phones or computers and create the account. They have to go through the KYC system, which is Know Your Customer system, where they need to upload a picture of their passport and their selfie. We use a third partner provider who matches their pictures to their actual identity. And if that's successful, if the verification process is successful, we create an account and they enter to their platform, to their dashboard, where they need to upload the receipts from the stores where they purchased goods while abroad. So the beauty of the application is that it can be any receipt from any store. So the two companies that I mentioned before, the Global Blue and Premier Tax Free, they have certain limitations because they have a different business model. They have B2B business model where they work directly with retailer. So international travelers cannot get refunds at the shops where Global Blue doesn't operate or the other company doesn't operate. So they're left with no refund, even though they should get a refund back. And the other thing is that we don't have a minimal amount for the purchase or the maximum amount. So this can be a purchase for any amount. The only one thing that it has to be some retail goods. So it cannot be consumables, it cannot be services like hotels and everything. After that, once the receipts are getting uploaded into our system, we have this algorithm that Igor developed for us, where our system scans this receipt and extracts the data. So it pulls the data from the receipt and inputs it in the digital refund form, one single for every of your receipts. So no more this 10, 20 forms. And what we ask our customer to do after that is when he's on his way back to his home country, we ask him to upload a boarding pass at the airport, thus confirming that he leaves the country. Once he's done that, we're filing the tax-free refund on behalf of the customer with this one single form to the tax authority. So that customer doesn't have to stand hours in queues and complete anything. So that's pretty much it.
And
Nice.
yeah, that sounds pretty convenient, something that we need to use going abroad as well. How does that then work for you guys? How do you keep the lights on, so to speak? Do you take a small processing fee, or is it you take a certain amount of the whole sum you file, or what's the plan?
So depending again on the country, we get a certain percentage fee. So for example, in Belgium it's 10%, and in the United Kingdom is 30% fee. It's on the fee on the refund. On top of that, if the customer chooses to get their refund in risky currency, so we right now support bank transfers and 32 currencies. If the customer chooses risky currency, then we apply on top of that 5% fee for that specific currency.
All right. And okay, so you if looking at the business model, you obviously going to need quite a lot of customers, since your business model is based on commissions, and you know that means you need to have a lot of transactions going on before the transaction fees start piling up. So you obviously need a lot of users for that. So how is this something that the governments will be, offering on their sites, or how do you go about user acquisition? And especially since you're already operating in different countries, and also the travelers coming into, for instance, UK are highly multinational. So how do you, build a customer acquisition system for something like this?
So let me tell you first who our customers are. So these are residents of the countries outside the European Union mainly. So these, for example, United States, Russia, Middle East, and most of Asian region, and Australia, New Zealand as well. And when Brexit will come into force, so from next year, from January 2021, European residents would be able to get their tax refunds in the United Kingdom. That's a good news. And vice versa. So the British people, when coming into Europe, they will be able to get their tax refunds. So you guys, you're based in Finland, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you will be able to get VAT refunds in UK.
Woohoo! Good news. Very nice.
Yeah, make sure to use Inovat for that. Okay.
Yes,
so
definitely.
we have 3 ways of approaching our customers. Do you want me to go into each detail?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the first one is the direct to consumer. And since I mentioned so many countries, it is hard to target them all. So we decided to choose the easiest option for us. Since both of us are Russian speaking and coming from Russian speaking countries, we have a lot of connections. There are a lot of friends there who are helping us with the marketing and customer acquisition. So we tackled that from the media standpoint and from social media channels such as VK, which is Facebook of Russia, and the Telegram. I'm pretty sure you know what's Telegram.
Yes.
And so just recently, for example, we have been covered by Forbes Russia in an about 2-hour-long video where we were talking about Inovat and how we started the company and so on and so forth. Also, it is very important, and actually I think for every business, is the first adopters, the first users who are getting on your platform, because you're giving them a special offer, a reduced fee or completely fee-free transfers, refunds. And they then advertise your products to all of their friends who are coming then into the UK. So we've built a base of about 100 people like that who are advertising heavily our product to their friends. The example with China would be Wechat. So Wechat is an application which they use for all of their needs, starting from credit scoring to chatting with friends and doing some shopping. So on top of Wechat, there are lots of mini applications. So what we're working right now is developing such a mini application, Inovat, on Wechat platform, so that our Chinese customers would be able to get their refunds straight to their Wechat accounts, Wechat ID. Apart from that, we're launching also very soon a referral program, basic referral program where you invite your friend, you get certain, reward for that, and we will be testing that and see how it goes. So that's the direct-to-consumer approach. So the second one is the distributional partnerships. We partner with travel agencies and the airlines for that. So we've partnered again with Russian 2 major travel agencies, and once they launch their tours, which will be very soon, and during the Christmas time, all of their customers will be using Inovat service for tax-free claims. And with airlines, it's an interesting approach because it also varies from airline to airline. So we're discussing an option with the British Avios team. So Avios are the points which you get for purchasing your tickets, and you can collect these Avios points and then book your hotels for free, have some discounts on shopping, and basically buy your tickets on these points. So what we're discussing with British Airways is to integrate Avios points as a refund option to our customers, so that they, instead of getting funds to their accounts, they will get Avios points so that they can buy these tickets with British Airways and book the hotels. And the second one is the revenue share agreement, where we give the piece of our revenues from those customers that came from the advertisement of Inovat that has been placed on the airline platform at the checkout. And the third one is the retail partnerships. So what we offer to retailers is retail offers and the recommendation tool. So the easiest example, I guess, to understand how it works I will start with retail offers. So retailers should advertise Inovat as the tax-free solution at their checkout point as well. And we provide a special offers on our platform of our partner retailers. The recommendation tool is slightly different, and the perfect example would be how we're approaching is with LVMH. So LVMH is the company which is a group of brands that constitute many small and large brands such as Louis Vuitton and Hennessy, Rolex, and so on. So luxury group of brands. So we're working with them on the integration of their system into Inovat, a recommendation tool. So how this will work is that the customer purchased something, say in Louis Vuitton, like a Louis Vuitton bag. They are getting recommended an additional item to purchase from that partner retail store. Are you with me?
Yes,
Yes.
we're following.
Yeah. So we're getting our customer an additional item from the same collection for them to purchase. This can be not the most recent collection, but this can be, for example, the stock that hasn't been sold. So when our system flags that this is the purchase that is made from a partner store, we recommend the unsold items from the stock to our customer for the special price, increasing revenues for the retailers and in return getting a fee for ourselves. Why this is interesting for retailers is because the retailers, luxury brands, have a problem of getting hold of international travelers because customers are just coming to the store and then leaving. The luxury brands cannot build a loyalty with the international travelers. And what we essentially do is building a loyalty.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's like always there's not only one way to go about customer acquisition. You need to be quite creative and find different ways and do multiple things, and then the sum of that will lead to and of course obviously some channels work better than others, and something might seem like a really good idea at first, and then turns out no one is actually interested in that. You know, I know that also from experience. You build some huge partnership and you think it's going to be the biggest deal ever, and then turns out that just wasn't a good fit after all, and then something that's much smaller and you know cost efficient might then be the thing that explodes. So but it sounds like you have quite a lot of different ways to approach, and I think it's a good tips like for any direct to consumer app, B2C app, on how to think about customer acquisition.
Yeah, it's true. It's we're trying different ways to see which one will work, as you said, but also we need to break the behavior to which international travelers got used to. So they got used to complete these paper forms, stand in the queues, ask for the tax refund from the cashier at the retail store. So what we need to do is to change the mindset. And to say like, hey, you have a better option where you can manage everything directly from your phone. And it's also, you know, the trust point as well. As with any startup that's related to your finances, there is always trust issues unless you see that your friends used it, or nice reviews, or you see it covered in a great magazine.
Exactly.
Yes. Because I'm interested in this. I kind of asked you in the beginning, you living in London, being from the Ukraine, like how is that, what things have you had to adapt to in becoming an entrepreneur? I'm assuming that the sort of entrepreneurial culture in some ways different, and a lot of the small things that I might not even realize to sort of mention might be different. How has that experience been? Obviously you've lived there for a while, so you're a Londonian now. I don't know what the demonym
Londonian.
is. Yeah. But yeah. How has that process of adaptation been?
pretty natural, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know what I had specifically to adapt to. I mean, in UK, the regulation system is so open for entrepreneurship, and government supports the startups. And you just to start a limited company, one needs just £1 and know how to use internet, and that's all. I guess I've lived here for 7 years. It's not too long, but I've learned how to communicate with people here, and then. But no, I don't know how to answer your question, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to adapt to anything. It was so natural for me. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't live in my home country either, and I've lived here for almost, way less than you've lived there. And I'm not an entrepreneur here, but still, like, it has been very natural. And I suppose that in many ways it is. But okay, I want to phrase it this way. In what kind of circumstance could you have seen yourself founding this company in the Ukraine? Or how is it different? How would that have been different for you? What's the entrepreneurial sort of atmosphere like over there?
So with the specific industry that I'm working on, impossible. Getting tax refunds in Ukraine is impossible because they don't have this retail export scheme even implemented. Russia actually just 2 years ago launched the retail export scheme, so they're offering VAT refunds for international travelers, encouraging more travelers to come to their country. But of course, if I would start a different business that I could start from anywhere, then it would be different. The access to investors is much better here. And the regulation system is also different in Eastern Europe compared to here.
What do you see the sort of general entrepreneurial atmosphere like? Do you see it going in some direction, better or worse, or what should be done in your opinion? Or do you have opinion? Do you think about this a lot?
You mean in Ukraine and Russia? How is it?
Sure. Yes.
Russia and Ukraine is so rich for talented people and talented developers. Like most of the tech giants are hunting for those tech developers, and it has a great potential.
Like Igor.
Huh?
Like Igor.
Yeah, exactly, like Igor. The tech giants are hunting for those talents, and it has a great potential for starting beautiful technology businesses. I cannot say for sure because I haven't started my own business in there. So I don't know how it is in Europe and the UK. But I think it has a great potential.
Yeah.
Do you recruit your team locally now in the UK, or obviously not everyone as you mentioned, but or are you looking all over the world, since you can be quite remote probably with what you're doing, or how do you go about recruiting in general?
So we have a quite international team. But our developers are mainly Russian speaking. So they're not all from Russia, but they're from Russian speaking countries. We have also a person working in Cyprus. We have also a contractor that works with us, our designer that works with us here. The strategy is once we expand further to European countries is to hire the country managers who will be helping us with the local markets. So we're now looking to hire someone in Belgium. We're now looking to hire someone in Estonia. Yeah.
But not in Finland yet.
No, but we will look into that certainly very, very soon.
Great.
Awesome. Hey, Sonya, this has been really enjoyable. Actually, one last question, at least for me. I don't know about you, William, but I have one last question. This is very general. Do you have any, I mean, you're a young entrepreneur. Do you have any tips? What can young entrepreneurs learn from you, Sonya?
I can say not learn from me, but like the general thought that I live with and what I've discussed with other entrepreneurs, they share this kind of mentality with me as well. So you have to find, there are so many startups out there that doing the same thing over and over again. So I don't know what they're competing for, but they're just not challenging any of the industries. They're just repeating what is already done. So I guess if someone found a problem that they think has no solution to it, they should do really research that proves that. And in case they found a competitor that is doing something similar, then entrepreneurs have to think how to do things differently that would be more efficient for their end customer, that would save more money for their end customer, or be more customer facing. Yeah, that's on the problem side and the idea side of things. But in general, startup world is like the sinking ship that you always try to rescue. Managing startup is hard. It's very hard. And there are always hurdles and obstacles. And when you're getting really upset with things. But if you really believe in what you're doing, and if the entrepreneur really wants to achieve something with that specific startup, they should focus on their end goal of where they want to be, and build some prospects or where they want to be always, even from the very beginning, and just reach their aims, reach their dreams. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for that answer.
Yeah, great.
What about you,
absolutely.
William?
No, I mean that covers it. I will take some notes now, and I think that's good. And yeah, really looking forward to following your journey when you launch even more and launch new countries, and hopefully we'll be Inovat users very soon once these travel bans are lifted at some point. So sounds like a fascinating idea and a good project, and we wish you of course the best of luck also from the Slush community. So great to have you as a guest, and thanks to everyone who viewed the video or listened to the audio version. Remember to subscribe and like the videos to stay tuned for even more, hopefully great content coming soon again. So
hopefully,
thanks.
you're losing hope already? No, this is going to be great. Hey, thank you so much, Sonya. Thanks, William, and thanks all you listeners and viewers for joining us again.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Stay safe there, guys.
Bye.